Yo, what's up, everybody? And we are back. So, what are we doing today? Of course, y'all already know what we're doing today because y'all saw the thumbnail and y'all probably see the title as well. But we're going to talk a little bit about it because there have been some slight changes to one of the mods that I was planning to do today. So I'm going to have to come back. I'm going to have to circle back around to this whenever I explain to y'all exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm talking in circles yet again. So welcome everybody, welcome back. I hope y'all having a good day. Hope y'all had a good week. We about to get this week started off right, because I'm about to get another install done to get us that much closer to getting this thing, well, getting the transmission installed in the car. So I'm still waiting, and I have not heard anything from iWire yet. So pretty soon, we're getting close to the end of the month. I'm probably going to reach out to them, send them an email just to kind of see status wise where they are. And then upon getting that information, then I'll kind of let you guys know where we are and how close are we to getting this thing started. Because if they can get me a tentative date when they're going to actually have this thing ready, it'll help me time getting this thing swapped into the car. Now, mind you, I got a lot of other stuff going on with work. I'm going to have to do some traveling here really soon. So I have to plan around that. So like I said, I'm not trying to string y'all along. I have to plan this thing to where I make sure that I'm able to be here to be able to stay on this thing consistently, because I don't want to start on it, go somewhere, go do some stuff, and then come back and then I'll be like, oh Lord, I got a car that's just in the air and still in pieces. Don't want that. My goal is to take some days off to try and knock this thing out. But let's go over to the bench and let's take a look at what we have in store for today's video. So here we go. So this is the Kartboy bushing combo kit. So we're going to get this thing installed onto our shifter rods and linkage and all of that, to our shifter itself. So we're going to get this thing installed onto this to have it ready. And also we'll put it on the transmission as well. Now, also, like I told you guys on here, the bushing, one of them is missing on here, so it's not in there. I'm almost thinking it's supposed to be a shaft in this thing too. If it is, then that means I gotta buy that too. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping, but like I say, we got one on this side and the other one is missing on this side. So I did get something for that, and we're gonna be replacing these bushings right here, and then we're gonna replace this whole little this shifter right here. Now, what we doing? We got the Kartboy kit, so it's got the short throw shifter, the bushings for that, and the rear bushing that goes in the back. As you can see on this one, it's pretty old and pretty beat up. Look at it, it's coming apart. So it's a good thing we are going to be replacing this. I was able to clean this thing up a little bit. And as far as for these bushings right here, this is where we have the turn in shift linkage bushings. So that's going to take a lot of the slop that's in it, moving it side to side. That's pretty much what all of that is. So that's going to remove all of that. And for what I was telling you guys that I was wanting to install, and what I told you guys is this guy right here. So this is the pairing reverse lockout. Now, I was going to put this in, but then I thought about it. When you from what I've seen, there's not a lot of info on these things getting installed, so which is the reason why I kind of wanted to do it. But then I started thinking, I said, well, look, I have my shift knob. I have the racing shift knob. So I'm going to opt to buy the racing reverse lockout. And it comes with a base, and then it comes with, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm bad camera work, y'all. It comes with the base, and then it comes with this the top shifting part as well. So that's the reason why I'm not going to install this today. I'm going to order the racing one, and then when I get that, we'll install that on there, and then we'll be able to have the shifter completely done and ready to go. So that's kind of what I got. And this guy right here, I was going to send it back, but I was like, nah, somebody else might want to use this, so I might do a giveaway or something with this reverse lockout, because I ain't used it. It's good quality. It's just not what I really want to use, and I feel like the racing one will work better with the racing shift knob that I have, and I won't have any issues. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started on getting the Kartboy short shifter and the turn in bushings installed on our assembly to get that part of the process started. So let's get it. All right, y'all, man. So let's get into this, man. Hopefully, I got my fan on, so hopefully it's not coming through too strong through the microphone. So I figured we'll start with popping out that roll pin. So let's get with that. So I got me a roll pin, a punch, and this is a 3/32 punch. I'm gonna put that in there and let's see if we can hammer this thing out of there. There we go. And we are through. So here's our roll pin right here. Put that guy over there. So now, well, I guess when they sent this thing, they put like a lug nut over this thing to, I guess, keep everything on here just in case they decided they wanted to pop off. Somebody was really thinking about it when they freaking packaged this thing up to go to get shipped out. So from there, all we got to do is remove our roll pin, and then we can pop this guy out, and the spring. All right, so we got that out, and now at this point I really don't have to pull out anything else. All I need to do is, because I can keep this on here, because what I'm ordering next, I don't need to remove this. Pop off this zip tie right here that's holding the reverse lockout in, and then we can pull this thing straight out, and then unbolt this section right here, and then we can actually free this up from the short shifter. So let's, matter of fact, yeah, let's get it. All right, we got that guy off of there. So now this just pulls straight on out of there. And there we go. So now that is out of there. That's free. So now we can do whatever we need to do with the rest of this. All we really need to do now is take this bolt out of here. And I got me a couple of 12s here. We got a ratchet and wrench, and then just to open in, well, a box. My hand is getting somewhat better. It's not 100%, but all right. All right. We got that guy out of there. Pop that out. Then at that point, we can just slide this bolt right on up out of there. And we are free. Slide this guy out of the way. So now what we got to do is we have to get, there's a snap ring that's holding this whole assembly in there with a retainer. So let me get my snap ring pliers, and let's find these openings. I think that's it, and that's it right there. And there we go. Got that snap ring out of there. It's pretty dirty in here too, man. So with that out, I should be able to pull this guy straight out of here. Dang. There we go. Got it out of there. There's a bunch of grease in here. There's a bunch of dirt in here. And there is an O-ring that popped out as well. So it's two O-rings. One on the bottom. It goes around the bottom. And then one at the top. So we can actually pull both of those off. And we're going to clean that up. We're going to put some new grease on here. There we go. Got that off. We'll take our snap ring off. And this is your stock shifter assembly already out of there. Now, I don't know if this is the short throw from the factory or not. Not too sure about it. We can do a comparison here. Let me, in fact, let's clean all of this stuff out of here. Clean all this grease out, all that dirty grease. Here's that. So I'm gonna clean all of this stuff up.
When I'm on vacay mode, be wondering every night to keep my mind.
All right, so we got all that cleaned up a little bit. All we got to do is just transfer all of this over. So this already has the holes in it and everything you need. It has these two zip ties. The zip ties are for, because it's going to be sitting shorter, we're going to have to reseat how we the reverse lockout wire. We're going to have to use those zip ties for that. So I'm going to pop these out of there. And then at that point, all we need to do is we need to put the little gasket, that, well, not the gasket, the little retainer clip on top of this ball joint, so that's on there. Then we can put our, no, you know what, let me put our snap ring on first. Snap ring, retainer, and then we'll put our O-ring on. But first, before we do all of that, I'm sitting up here just going too far too fast. Let's put some grease on this thing. So I got some white lithium grease, and this is good grease. It works in high temp and low temp. So I figured I'd get me some of this by Lucas to replace all of the grease that we already taken off of here. So here we go. I'm gonna put quite a bit of some lube around this thing. Put this around here, work it around in there. There's plenty in there. I'm probably gonna put some in the bottom of this thing here too. Matter of fact, I am. Put some in here. Make sure we're good to go. Completely lubed up is what I want. And we'll put some along the outside of this thing as well. Then we'll put our O-rings back on. So we got one O-ring that goes for the top. Get that guy on there, he's on. Put our O-ring for the bottom on. And then we can go ahead and slide this thing back in here. There we go. Not the coolest sound, but it's lubed up, god dog it. At that point, now we got to do is we need to put our retaining snap ring clip back in there. I can only imagine doing this inside of a car. But I'm gonna use a flathead to help push this thing in there evenly. Okay, should be able to push this thing down and in there. Looks like we are in. We actually got our short shifter in there, and at this point, let's go on ahead and let's slide our reverse lockout into the hole here, and then from there, for now, let's get our roll pin through. So we got that through. And all I got to do now is find something that I can stick up in this thing to keep it in place so it doesn't move. So I'm ready to go whenever I need to. Actually, I can actually zip tie this to here and it'll keep it turned in the right direction. So let's do that. Yep, it seems to be holding in place really well. And at this point, we can put this in our rubber. Matter of fact, let me get some lube on this guy as well on the sides. There's here, and we'll put our bolt, if I can find it. There it is. Put the bolt back in here. Get our locking nut back on there. Then we'll go the process of tightening this screw back on. And there we go. And now we are good to go there. So now we actually have our shifter installed. All right, so I found a cotter pin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this spring on here and put this cotter pin through the reverse lockout, and then twist it on here so that it doesn't come off. I don't lose it and nothing happens to this thing, so it stays in place right where I need it. Let's get the bushings on this end done up right here. So go ahead and push that one out on that side. Push that out, and then we'll take this nut off of this end. I'm on off. Yeah. Here. Now we're going to take this guy out of there and pull him out of there. So now while we have it just like this, because I want to make sure this goes right back in the same way it came out, we're going to pull off the bushings that are here. That one and that one, and this is kind of, ooh, this is kind of jacked up right now. See if I can. All right, Knocked a little bit of that debris and rust over there so it looks a tad bit better. Let's put our new turn in bushings in there. Let's get that guy in there. Him right there. And then there we go. In there. Slide him in there like that there. Line our bolt hole up. And then tighten it back on there. There we go. Locking that, we on that. Now this thing, god dang. This thing is super tough. Hold on. Let me pop this off of here. I might need to lube this thing up a little bit. All right, y'all. So I don't know, for me, it just felt like this thing was just too tough. It wouldn't move at all. So I kind of like opened it up to spread it out just a little bit, not too much, but that feels a little bit better. I feel like maybe over time it'll kind of get a little wear into it and it'll be good to go. But other than that, all we have is these last two right here. And there we go. Our turn in bushings are in. Now, the only other thing we need to work on is removing this bushing right here, which, as you can see, is pretty squishy. So you got to press this thing out of here. So what I'm going to wind up doing here is trying to push this guy out of here. All right, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to sit this thing on here, kind of give it some leverage on top of something that I can push this down on. So I'm going to push down on this guy and put some lubricant or something in here so I can see if I can get this out of here. Or at least make it somewhat easy for me to do so. Looks like that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. All I did is I put a little lubricant in there and I just pushed it through them. This thing is so squishy, it pushed right on through. So if you apply pressure on this little metal section right here and push it down, and I used a flathead, pried it in there and pushed down, it just folded right on in there and went right on through. So that's that. So now, all we got to do is put the two bushings in that Kartboy supplies. And we are definitely going to lubricate these things. That bushing is in, and then at that point, all we do is we slide this guy through there, like so. Oh, it ain't going through there easy either. Hold on. There we go. That guy's in there, and we're almost complete here. Now we got to do is put this last little bushing in right here on the back. So I'm gonna put some lube on that and see if I can pull this guy off of there, because this is pretty bad. This thing looks pretty bad in here. So let's put that in there. See if we can make it a little easier for us. Oh, look at that. Came right on out. No problem. But it is pretty degraded. And now, how this sits in the car, well, I'll show you guys more of this whenever we actually put it in the car, but this should be facing upward in the car. So once it's sitting there, it should be facing upward. So now, put a little lubricant, put a little white lithium grease in here. Let's see if we can work this guy on there. And there it is. On there. Good to go. And at that point, the Kartboy kit is installed. We are good to go. And now we'll call this install done. It is a wrap, so we are installed. I can't wait to see how this thing feels. All right, y'all, so man, that's a wrap. Install is done. All I got to do now is get my reverse lockout that I want to put on here, get that. So that's pretty much all I got for you on this one. So if you enjoyed it, man, make sure you hit that like button, man. Appreciate y'all. And we're getting closer and closer. I know we've been in the garage a whole lot, prepping up and getting ready for this. So while I'm waiting to get this part, to get the reverse lockout in there so I can complete this whole shift linkage assembly, once I get that done, we should be that much closer. Like I said, I am going to reach out to iWire to kind of see, you know, where we are in the process. Because like I said, there is another one out there I can get. I just really would like to get the new one because it's probably going to have better stuff attached with it. And I kind of just see, like I say, I want to, you know, be one of the first to try it out. So that's kind of the reason why I'm really wanting to wait for that. The way then I can time out the rest of me to actually starting to rip the transmission out and going through that process. Besides, I'm still trying to plan that whole thing out. Trying to do it it's going to be over multiple videos, but it's going to be in sections as far as for how we're doing everything. That way then you guys know exactly what you need to do, what you need to take out, how you need to take it out, you know, and all of that. I want to kind of line it out to where you can it's a complete walkthrough. You should be able to do it. I don't want to cut any corners, but then again, I don't want to drag it out either. So I'll have all of that stuff ready for you guys, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit all so you get notified whenever I put out a video. And until that next video, fam, peace.